What's up? I'm Bash, and before I get started doing any sort of cooking videos on this channel, I figured I'd go ahead and introduce myself. Now, some of you guys that are watching this for the first time may be following from the Facebook page. And if you are, thank you. Because that's pretty freaking awesome. And I definitely appreciate that. And if you're just following for the first time, go ahead, please, and hit the like and subscribe. All that good stuff that, everybody has to put in their YouTube videos because, you know, that's how we get noticed. All a bunch of attention whores. So, again, I'm Bash. I'm a veteran. I won't talk much about that, actually. I'm an Army veteran, been to combat. That's about all I need to talk about right now. Not really important for this video or for this channel. Not in my opinion. That may change over time. You never know. I don't really know where I'm going with this channel yet entirely. I know I want to do a lot of basic cooking stuff to start with and, do some more complicated stuff later on. But, I think that getting down to the basics is important. And so that's what I'm going to start with. I am a huge fan of food. And being a huge fan of food, I had to learn how to cook. Now I've always been pretty decent at it. I as a young man, as a teenager, I used to get up and cook for my family in the mornings, and just I always enjoyed cooking. I've worked in several restaurants. I've worked anywhere from washing dishes to managing and being, the chef in the kitchen, and there, all the stuff in between. So I definitely learned a lot about how to cook in restaurants and just trial and error. I Let's see a little more about me. I'm training right now to compete in my first strongman competition. Right? Hopefully by the end of this year, I'll have competed in one competition. That's my goal for this year. We'll see how that turns out. Might even be some videos on here later on about that, but I'm going to focus primarily on the cooking because that's what we're here for. Manly Men Cook with Cast Iron. That's the name of this channel. And I'm just going to go ahead and say this right now because I've had people kind of attack that name and say that it's sexist. That's not at all what it is. When I first started the Facebook page a few years ago, it was actually Real Men Cook with Cast Iron. And I had a couple of people then also attack it as being sexist. No. In fact, I made it originally, it was sort of a result of sexism because I knew a lot of young men at the time. I was actually in school at the time studying motorcycle mechanics, using my GI Bill, going to school, and I wanted something that was cool. I wanted to use my GI Bill for something that was cool and useful. So I went to Motorcycle Mechanics Institute and I studied Harley Davidson. But I knew a lot of young men at that point in time just leaving their parents' houses for the first time. And they had no concept of how to cook. And some of them even would go as far as to say that cooking wasn't manly. Cooking's not manly. My mother always cooked for me, and I'm going to marry me a woman that cooks. And I just felt like that was the wrong answer. I feel like that is a childlike mentality. And, and I'm not trying to attack these people. They didn't know any better. So I feel that in order to really achieve adulthood, so to speak, you need to know how to cook. At least some basic cooking to take care of yourself. Not popping Hot Pockets in the microwave and calling that good and waiting until you can find somebody in your life that cooks for you. Now, that being said, I do almost all the cooking in my house. I've been married for this year in December, so barely into this year, but in December, I'll have been married for 10 years. My wife doesn't do hardly any of the cooking here in the house. She doesn't really enjoy cooking. She knows how to if she has to, but she doesn't really enjoy it, and I do enjoy it. And so I cook. And, it's funny because when we have company over, she thinks I'm going to be stressed because now I'm cooking for a lot of people, and it's not hard. Once you know the basics and, and if you enjoy cooking, cooking's not hard. And it's definitely not unmanly, if that's it's not unmanly to know how to cook. In fact, I'm pretty sure my cooking is one of the reasons that my wife, back when we were dating, kept me around as long as she did. Long enough for me to ask her to marry me. I want to say one of my first meals for her was either spaghetti sauce made from scratch or a stir fry. Simple, easy stuff that, was cheap to make. Because I was in my early 20s. And didn't have a whole lot of money. Being a musician, you will never have a whole lot of money. But, I cooked for her. And I think that's absolutely why she grew to like me. I mean, obviously she liked me, but you know what I mean. So, yeah, cooking is absolutely a manly thing to do. And people who say otherwise are coming from a place of, I feel insecurity. And that's not, So, that being said, I am not saying women shouldn't cook with cast iron. I am not saying that, only men can cook with cast iron or anything like that. That's not the goal of this channel at all. The reason for cast iron is as I feel it's the best thing to cook on. It's a great, great tool for cooking. You can do more with a single Dutch oven, than you can with any stainless steel pot. I mean, technically, you can do all the same stuff in it, but the cast iron is just going to be a better. I actually have a Dutch oven sitting right in front of me because I'm getting ready to cook with it. Oh, one of my favorites, that Dutch oven, right there. My finger is stuck. Outtakes. But yeah, so it's not in any way an attack on women cooking. That will never be something you see on this channel. So if you followed this video this far, I appreciate it. I really do. Thank you so much. This is my first video for the channel. I hope to get better, and be a little more organized. But I just figured a quick introduction. A few things that I want to do. Expect some very basic cooking videos at first. I'll probably do simple stuff like how to cook a steak, how to frickin', how to reverse sear a steak. It sounds complicated, but it's really easy. Scrambled eggs, stuff like that. Some very simple, basic stuff to get started. And as I go on, I will add more content, more complicated things, maybe, different recipes, whatnot. So, again, thank you very much for watching. I'm going to try to get into a rhythm of doing at least one video a week. Probably more at some point in time, but for right now, I'm going to shoot for one a week. I will catch you guys next time.